My name is Villiers and I'm the art director for Splitting Image Taxidermy, and I'm here today to tell you a little bit more about what I do in this company. When it comes to sculpting anatomy for taxidermy purposes, my steps involve obviously capturing as much reference from an animal as possible, both alive and dead. What I do is I generally photograph and film a lot of footage of animals in natural behavior. And then I also, when one is dead, I would take as many measurements as I can off of that carcass and use that information, combine it with photographs that I have of living animals to come up with an accurate representation of what the animal looks like alive. When we do this anatomy sculpture, we have to bear in mind that we're sculpting the musculature and we're going to put a skin on it. So you always have to keep that idea that there's a thickness of skin and glue and stuff like that that gets added onto the mannequins, and that reflects through on the final mount. I sculpt in a plasticine type clay. And what we do with that final sculpture is we make a mold out of epoxy resin. That mold is then used to pour polyurethane castings off of, which are lightweight and rigid, and that also gives a good surface for the skin to bond to, and that creates a taxidermy piece. So sculpting our own mannequins is what separates us from other taxidermies. Other taxidermies in general will buy mannequins that were sculpted by someone that works for the supply company or has sold mannequins that they sculpted to the supply company. What that means is, on average, everyone's work looks the same. And you never truly know if that mannequin is 100% accurate, and it's always up to the artist's interpretation of the animal that will determine how accurate it is for taxidermy. Because remember, in taxidermy we're working with highly accurate, down to millimeters, precision type sculpting. With us doing it ourselves, and with me doing the sculpting as well, and my knowledge of animal anatomy and sculpture, it gives us a unique stance in the playing field of taxidermy, that we are somewhat able to produce more accurate work, because also our animals are all around us and I have lots of reference. When I began taxidermy, there was a company that I worked for and they did not really have any good mannequins. And I would look at stuff that I saw that's available around the world in terms of mannequins, and I noticed there was quite a big difference. So I thought to myself, well, it can't be that hard. Let me get some clay, let me get a skull, let me start sculpting. And that's how it started. I literally picked up a skull and I put some clay on it, and closely studying like the anatomy books and stuff like that to learn what all the different muscle groups are and where they belong. And yeah, from there, you with trial and error based, 16 years later, it's a full-time career. My first show that I entered was the World Taxidermy Championships. I was about the age of 23, and then I presented my first seminar at the World Taxidermy Championships, and I entered a sculpture, and I did win the division for my sculpture, which was best of category life-size pre-sculpted. I went back and I've won some more awards and I've done some more shows. I did some national shows here in South Africa. We did win a few awards there. But yeah, to me it was never really about competing at that level to try and beat everyone. It's about doing the work as best you can.